We heard earlier that obviously G20 summit is underway in Turkey, and France is calling on leaders taking part in that summit to help stop the financing of these terror groups. What will it take?
I guess it's really hard to control, because we have to go like beyond what we hear of. They are selling their petroleum, they are making money out of it. They are making money out of the land they control, because there's many assets in the land, starting with cotton fields, with wheat, with, you know, because they control the territory. It's the first time that such an organization is building what looks like a state. They have an army, they have an administration, and they have economic values in their land. So we have to understand this, and even we have to understand that they have popular support in these lands. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to hold these lands. This is what we should really look to in a really scientific way. They expanded to Africa with Boko Haram vowing allegiance to them. They expanded to Yemen, to Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, and there's reasons behind all this. Because remember, when the Americans waged war in Iraq, it wasn't enough to send boots on the ground. The people who kicked the jihadis from towns, from Fallujah, from Ramadi, were Sunni tribes. Why? Because the Americans promised them a better economic life, more participation in the new political system, promises that were cut 20 years ago and never fulfilled. So today, if we have nothing to offer to these populations, the war can continue and can go on. We were with Al-Qaeda, and now we're with Islamic State, and tomorrow we'll be with something more dangerous and more determined to fight the whole system. And what's different, one more time, is today they are being able to bring into their ranks more and more Western citizens. They are imposing, if I may say, the rules of the war. Because remember, the Americans were much criticized regarding drones attacks. When they killed, for example, an American citizen and his son, Anwar Lawlaki, in Yemen. They were criticized here in Europe and elsewhere. The Israelis were also criticized when they conduct such actions. And today, we see that Britain did it without having even the permission from the parliament to do it. Cameron did it, and France is following. So the rules of the game are changing. We are going one step beyond in this war from both sides, and we don't know what's the outcome, because nobody has a real plan, at least up to this point.
And what do you make of the link that's being made with the migrant situation? As we heard, one of the passports found on the ground next to one of the suicide bombers was Syrian. Serbia says that it was checked, that passport was checked, the holder of that passport was checked in Serbia. He'd come through Greece, possibly. What do you make of that link?
I guess that it's too soon to jump into conclusions, remembering that a Syrian passport can be a fake one on the first hand, and can be bought very easily. Other journalists proved it. They made reports on it by buying such passport, by even putting a photograph of the Netherlands Prime Minister with an Arabic name, and they got through. So it doesn't mean necessarily that it's a Syrian who was one of the attackers. It could be European with a false Syrian passport. We don't know yet. We don't have enough a good view on this, but I guess we shouldn't jump into conclusions. And anyways, it's of course it could happen. Of course it could happen, because we should also know that known European jihadis are known by the authorities here, and so it's much easier for someone unknown to make such a move, without forgetting also that a known Belgian jihadi said at the time, like 3 months ago, that he succeeded in getting into Vilvoorde, his hometown, and then going back to Syria. And remember when the Belgian police made many arrests in Vilvoorde a few months ago, it was linked to this story. So I guess in the upcoming days, we'll have more and more information. But of course, it's not at all excluded that either Europeans with fake passports could pass, jihad Europeans, of course, or Syrians or Arab citizens could, out of 1,000, could have a terrorist plan. It's not at all excluded, of course.
And Belgium is really the key to all this, perhaps?
Belgium is the key to this. It was pointing out towards Belgium since the first hours of what happened here Friday. We couldn't say it, but because it was like information wasn't 100% sure. But we know that Belgium is close to France. The access is easy. We know, and we shouldn't forget, that the highest ratio of jihadis in the ranks of jihadi groups, either Al-Qaeda or Islamic State, are Belgian citizens. So, of course, of course, we should look at this with, one more time, forgetting a bit the borders, because they are waging global jihad on their enemies. There's no difference between civilian and a military. They're at war and they are acting upon this reality.
Wasim Nasr, thank you very much.